Good morning, beautiful people. No, is that how you say it? How do we start this thing? Hey guys, how you doing? This is Ben. Welcome to the channel. Welcome to the video. I'm just gonna take the compost for a second and then I'm gonna show you the garden and then maybe we'll chat about a couple of things. All right, it's been a while since we've checked on the garden. Obviously it has been winter and not a lot has been going on, at least not much that I can eat and my family can eat, but I have been growing something that others can eat. I'm not sure if it's just me or not, but I've been having a real problem with little gnats. I don't know if they're not quite like fruit flies or anything. They're just like these fungus gnats or something. And the best defense I've had is just to always try to keep leaves covered on top of the random, fruits and vegetable scraps that we throw into the compost bin. But if you have any better thoughts on how to keep those things out of your compost pile, definitely let me know. Right on cue, Janice starts talking as soon as I start recording. Oh, they're all talking now. You're a chatty bunch this morning. Okay. So, what have I been growing in the garden? I have some other things that I'm going to show you that I have been growing for myself, for my family, but there's not a lot that you can grow through the winter. What I did decide to grow in the rows is actually a food plot mix. You see I have it in these two rows here. It's a food plot mix, so there's a combination of some radishes that are in here and like this guy right here. See, nice long taproot on that. What's nice about this, the ladies like it. They like the grasses too. So sometimes I'll just come in here, yank a handful of it. Let's go feed it to the hens. Good morning, ladies. They flock to it every time. And I think what that really is telling me is that they're missing out on their greens. I have obviously here on the side, you can see they get their fill of your standard kind of layer feed. But there are times where they really just don't want to eat it. They don't care for it. But if I throw some greens in here, they'll flock to it every single time. Getting some greens is a hard commodity to find in the winter months, and so you see they'll chase each other around. You'd think she has a worm. But nope, it's just some radishes. While they are distracted, let's check real quick. That's fake. That's real. Alright. I'll take it. Thank you, ladies. Truth is, if I cut them loose, on that food plot, they would probably empty that thing out in a day. Which is why I just kind of pull it and throw it in the run for them, just so that I can measure it out over the winter months and give them a little something to look forward to. At the same time, they're still getting a very healthy diet with the layer feed that's in there. I am a little bit concerned with how I'm going to kill off. Most of those greens that you're seeing, it's actually an oat grass. It's just oats. I'm a little concerned with how I'm going to kill it off because they obviously didn't winter kill. And we have temperatures here in 7B, 8 that are more, I don't know, we've had freezing temperatures. We've definitely had some freezing nights. We're going to have some more in just a little bit, but it's never been a very long, it's just been freezing nights, and then by the time the day comes around, we're back up at least into the 40s, right? So it's been a surprisingly mild winter, even if it has been a longer winter. And so the oats didn't die. I just put the mower down real low, a little push mower, run it right over those rows. It'll trim that grass down to the crown, and I just hope that that's enough to kill off the oat grasses. We'll see. But nevertheless, I'm happy that I did it because I've been able to give greens year-round to the chickens, just to give them something a little different in their diet, something very natural in their diet, and they love it. Okay, so what about human food? Well, we've got some strawberries that are popping up here. If I'm being perfectly honest, I don't know what kind of strawberries these are. I don't know if these were just seeds that I had dropped in here. I did try to plant some strawberry plants when I first made this entire raised bed, but none of those made it. So I'm a little curious as to where these guys came from. It's hard to tell. But I'm going to let them grow out. I'm hoping to see some fruit this year from them. They were just getting established last year. Next thing in this bed, can you see that? That is a tiny little asparagus. So I have like 2 different varieties that are in here. In the next bed here, this is all garlic. I decided to go all in on garlic in this bed because I grew a lot of garlic last year. Maybe about half of this bed was garlic last year, and it did not last us as long as I had hoped, and so I'm doubling down on it. This was by request for Mrs. Honeydew. I don't know what it is about the garlic that I grow here versus the garlic that we get at the grocery store, but this garlic is so potent. Like, for example, if we're told in a recipe that you have to use a whole head of garlic, we'll use 1 clove of garlic, and that's enough. I mean, like, this is some vampire killing stuff, and I don't understand exactly what I do different, but it makes amazing garlic. I love it. I really do. If you don't like super strong garlic, you may not like this one, but this is being grown basically in pure compost mixed with a little bit of perlite, basically mixed in almost to make like a potting style mix, but just compost and perlite, that's it. And this has been aged for 1 to 2 years now, so it's pretty well aged. It's settled in there, and so it's just a very nice, rich, soft soil that I'm growing these things in, and they're loving it. So, and I'm loving the flavor. I have a bed here. This is my experimental bed. You can tell there are bunches of onions. This was not planted out super cleanly. This particular area here, I grew these in a pot and then planted them out by hand, so you can see there is some separation. On this side, I just threw seeds to see how things would germinate. And this is kind of what happens when you just throw seeds. You know, you get heavy rains, whatever happens, the water tends to pool in certain areas. It also tends to draw the seeds in, and then you get these random clusters. I'm actually going to leave it. I'll say most of these onions here all came from the seeds that I had harvested. You can probably find the video on my channel, but all of these seeds were basically harvested from some previous onions that I had that eventually sprouted, and I replanted them. This I'm gonna leave as an experiment. Ooh, super windy, guys. I hope you can hear me. I'm leaving this as an experiment. I've seen some people grow onions in bunches and they've just sort of harvested them over time, as opposed to something like this where you grow them spaced out and then you just harvest everything all at once. I don't know, may work, may not. Another part of this experiment, I planted these onions last fall, meaning they overwintered. There is a threat, a possibility, because of the nature of onions. Onions are this biennial plant, right? So one year they'll grow into the plant and they'll bulb. The next year they'll basically that bulb will wither down and then they'll flower. You can harvest those seeds, or in the wild those seeds will drop, and then the cycle continues. And so one year you bulb, the next year you bolt. Bulb, bolt, bulb, bolt, right? If you plant the seeds at the wrong time, which I'm not exactly sure what the wrong time would be, but the way that the plant knows what year it's in is based on the winter that it has had to survive. And so if I planted these in the fall and it went through a winter, it might be thinking, this is my second year, meaning all of these onions might go straight to seed. I'm hoping that that does not happen. I want to see bulbs, but I just don't know. So we're gonna find out together, all right? If you want to see that, subscribe for sure. And you cannot see what's going on here, but this is all potatoes, potatoes. You know, kind of funny story. Mrs. Honeydew was never a potato person. Like, she likes sweet potatoes, but that's not the same, right? She was never like a white or a yellow potato person. She just tolerated them because I enjoyed them. Then I introduced her to smashed potatoes. And now she says, okay, we need to grow more potatoes. So that's it. That's it, fellas. If you want to convince your significant other of growing more or eating more or less of something, you just got to find the right way to cook it. You just got to find the right way. So smashed potatoes was the win for me, but we're doubling down on potatoes. Normally we'll grow like one bed. Most of these beds are like 2 by 6 feet. And I tend to crowd my potatoes a little bit, but even from that small little bed, we would get a pretty good harvest. So I'm literally doubling that harvest this year. I also have some greens that I've seeded out, but honestly, I've been a little lazy. I haven't been watering them and we haven't had any rain. So literally carrots, greens, there's just seeds sitting in the ground. And now that I'm thinking about it, I'll go water it as soon as I'm done here, but I don't know. Sometimes I'm just not really great at growing greens. They need so much attention. I love garlic, I love onions, asparagus, strawberries, blueberries. There are some low-hanging fruits, no pun intended, that are easier to grow. They don't need as much vigilant attention, and greens are just so hard. So I don't grow a lot of them. I should grow more, but I don't. It's just something I need to work on with time. But as always, you guys be good. I'll see you on the next one. Then I introduced her into smashed let's do that again. Oh, just bumped the camera. That's not going to be good. All right.